Hello everyone, I know it's been a while, but don't worry, I've been plenty busy. In fact, I have so much to talk about, let's just go ahead and get right to it and speedrun it all in. As you may know, I've been working on a roguelike that's inspired by Redwall and Fire Emblem, where you get to fight your way to the top of a mountain and take down the king. I'm happy to say that I'm finally at a point where I've been able to make a demo that I'm going to be putting up on itch and giving in the description down below for you to try out. I would love for everyone to go and give it a check out, download it, give it a play. Right now it works only on Windows. I haven't tried it on Mac, but I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say it probably won't work. But hey, if you have Mac, give it a try and let me know. It probably won't. If you do get a chance to check it out, please leave a comment here or on itch. It's super appreciated, and I'm at that point in game design where I could really use other people's eyes on it to let me know what works and what doesn't work, and what's clear and not clear. I've been busy with a ton of stuff while I've been gone. I did the annual GMTK Game Jam, which was actually my first Game Jam. Had a lot of fun. She got like 1,600. Which doesn't sound that impressive at the first sound of it, but it's out of 6,000 people, and it was my first ever game jam, so honestly, I'm feeling pretty good about it overall. And after that, I worked so much on my current tactics game. Honestly, one of the main downsides to taking so long between each devlog is that I've done so much stuff in between each video that it's almost impossible for me to even remember what I did in between each video. The name of the game for the last month, though, has been Polish. While I liked all of my assets that I've made individually, it was kind of hard for me to feel like they meshed together really well. So I gave some pictures of my game to some people and I got some really good advice back from them. And because of that, I was able to come in and use some global volume, some post effects, some post processing to be able to get a look that is more cohesive. Now there's still a lot of work to do. A lot of the pictures that you see in here are still test assets, but I'm happy with how I was able to get things to visually mesh a little bit clearer. Here's a side-by-side of what it used to look like and what it's looking like now. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have any of your own personal advice on that too. I love hearing back from it. I've also gone through and I've added in a bunch of code to work on sound effects so that now things have a little bit more impact. These also are very much test assets. I'm not a sound designer, and I mostly am using stuff from freesound.com. Some of it I think works really well. Others of it may be a little bit too aggressive for what I'm currently aiming for. So I'm gonna figure that out as we go along. I'm not, again, really a sound design expert, so this is probably gonna be one of the bigger learning curves for me now that I've been picking up more coding. I've also been working really hard on making characters. Characters are the most important part of this game to me. The ability to mix and match them, to make a new team that interplays on each other differently each run is one of the most exciting parts for me as I playtest it myself. I have a nice little system set up, so it's really easy to make new characters, and it's not hard for me to be able to tune the dials so that they work differently enough that they feel different, even if it's the same couple of numbers that run all of them. Each character also has their own special passive and special abilities that help differentiate them from each other even more. Reed, for instance, starts out with a very large attack radius, which means that you can really take out large groups of enemies that are clustered together, but does also come with the downside of accidentally hitting your own teammates if you're not careful. Rudolph can only attack people next to him, but he packs a big punch, and he can also shield his teammates to help them take less damage from the enemies every turn. Barry doesn't hit very hard, but he can move around the map quickly, and he can steal gold from enemies, which he can use at his brother's store and get a nice discount depending on his passive ability. I'll probably go through some of the other unique abilities and characters as I go through these videos, but I just wanted to give those as a couple examples. Each of these people start with a baseline stats that are all unique from each other, but you can find runes on the map as you fight your enemies, and those give them special bonuses such as extra attacks, extra movement, extra radiuses for your attacks or specials that are all the most important things to find as you're fighting. One thing that was very important to me as I was designing this game is I didn't want these unique units to just be blank slates that have a cool design and maybe a cool ability, and that's it. I wanted you to be able to interact with them as you played with them and really get a better sense of who they are as a person and get to learn about them as you play the game. I was really inspired by Hades and how it told its story, and I kind of want to emulate that in my game. So instead of having the story take place as you are going through a roguelike run, I want to instead have those be separate from the story and instead get the story as you come back to the home base each time you finish a run. The home base is still one of the lesser developed parts that I've been working on, but it's actually in a good enough place that I actually want to talk about it, even if it's not really anything pretty. Mainly, I just want to show off that I have the ability now to have characters spawn in the home base and you can talk to them. And I have a very limited script for it right now, but they actually say different things depending on who it is. It's gonna be a lot of work to script everything, but once I have all the front end work on it, it'll be a lot easier for me to handle that without having to actually code new stuff, which is nice. I also have in the home base a very, very early on in the process system for you to be able to make permanent upgrades to your team by spending experience points to get them. But that's still very early on and may not even make the final cut depending on what people think of the game and if it's too hard or too easy. And that's a lot of what I've been working on. I have not gone into detail on everything. I've done so much little minor things that are, you know, mind-boggling to really realize how much goes into making games. But I wanted to make this video like 2 minutes and I'm already approaching the 7-minute mark, so clearly I have a lot that I did and I had a lot to talk about it, but I'm gonna stop it now just because I don't want to talk about it too much without getting people's feedback. Again, game is in the description. It's just a very straightforward demo. There's 3 characters you can play as, and let me know what you think. Tell me any bugs you find. Tell me any things that you feel is too hard, too easy, unclear. Seriously, any advice that you might have would be lovely to hear. I've been playing it mostly in a pretty big echo chamber, so it would be nice to get some fresh eyes on it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know what you think of the game, and I'll talk to you next time.